size of that?
Anybody have base transparency for
911. You dial 411 after Bates County Sheriff's Department.
and you'll get it.
Deadly tornadoes rip through the Midwest, shattering what had been a quiet start to twister season. We'll have the details right here, right now on the News Hub. Good morning and welcome. I'm Simon Constable. And for a better understanding of what happened and what's in store for the rest of the season, we're joined now by WeatherBELL Analytics Chief Meteorologist Joe Bastardi. And Joe, we just saw a clip there of a twister. I understand the devastation has been absolutely awful. People killed. It's just horrible. What causes this sort of thing?
Well, a clash between the oncoming summertime with warm, humid air masses coming out of the Gulf of Mexico and still very, very cold air in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere charging southward down the plains. And it's much like last year where we have another record shot of cold air. Last year it was later in May that set these things off. This is coming in and clashing. You had a monstrous storm over the central part of the United States, and this is coming slowly eastward. So we do have severe weather in store for areas from Louisiana into Tennessee today, centered on northern Mississippi on into Alabama. But this outbreak is an island of frenzy in a sea of tranquility, because after this goes by today and tomorrow, we go back to a pattern of relative quiet for the next 10 to 15 days. And overall, it has been quiet.
And we can expect something over the next day or so, though. You're saying it isn't completely over right now. That just to be clear.
No, I think today could be as bad as yesterday. Not quite as bad as yesterday. You've got to remember that if the tornadoes were 5 miles outside of town, there would have been a lot less devastation. The fact is that some of these things, it's just the luck of the draw that it happens to go right through a populated area. And the South and the Midwest and the plains are much more populated than they were in the 50s and 60s. We used to routinely have over 100 people killed in tornadoes, and it's a credit to what NOAA's done with the warning systems that we don't see more people killed. We get a lot of devastation because there's a lot more property damage now. I do want to say something that, this is sticking out like a sore thumb. And it shows you that even in the quietest weather patterns, if something hits in a bad place or a populated area, you could have a lot of trouble. You may see the same kind of thing this hurricane season, Simon, where we don't have a lot of storms, but the ones that do impact the United States.
Now, we're also expecting some heavy rains this week on the East Coast, which is where we are here in New York. Tell us about that.
Well, there's a lot of moisture coming in off the Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico, and a very slow-moving storm system. At this time of the year, these things move a lot slower than they do during the winter. So we'll give 2 or 3 days of opportunity tomorrow through Thursday for repeating rounds of rain. The east wind off the Atlantic Ocean, though, keeps it cooler, so you don't worry about severe thunderstorms. But there could be 2, 3, 4 inches of rain in parts of the mid-Atlantic states, cumulative total. Fortunately, a lot of it is probably going to lead to what I call normal flooding rather than the extreme type of thing. Now you say, what's normal flooding? Well, you're going to get a couple events every year in most places where you do have flash flood watches, flash flood warnings, that type of thing. But right now, I think the heaviest rains are targeted for Virginia, North Carolina, and then maybe up the I-95 corridor Wednesday into Thursday.
Okay, we will keep a lookout for that. Thank you very much, Joe Bastardi of WeatherBELL Analytics. We appreciate your time, sir.
Thank you for having me.